It's been a week since the Hell Let Loose Vietnam open beta. And no, this is not a review. Today, I'm going to be talking about how Hell Let Loose Vietnam doesn't feel like Hell Let Loose. But I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. In this video, I'll be putting all of my positive and negative opinions on Hell Let Loose Vietnam aside, and focusing on a phenomenon I think is pertinent to fully understanding what kind of game Hell Let Loose Vietnam is, and why it feels different than the original Hell Let Loose. I did make a review of Hell Let Loose Vietnam last week, so if that's what you're looking for, then go check it out. To illustrate my claim that Hell Let Loose Vietnam feels different than Hell Let Loose, I will be focusing on three main elements of gameplay. These are the maps, foliage and visibility, and the combat. If you enjoyed this video and want more Hell Let Loose reviews, gameplay, and analysis, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. It truly means a lot. In the original Hell Let Loose, maps are designed around creating large-scale battles with clear objectives, front lines, enemy positions, and routes. Most maps include various road networks, rivers, large open fields, towns, and choke points that make it easy to predict where the enemy is, where the attack is coming from, and where the next fight will happen. Even if you're getting absolutely decimated by the other team, you can usually figure out why it is that the other team is winning and what the weak points are on your team. With Hell Let Loose map design in mind, the game rewards good planning. This means good positioning matters, strong defensive positions are possible, and recon and map knowledge make huge advantages if used properly. In Hell Let Loose Vietnam, the map we were introduced to, Tan Hoa Bridge, allows me to make a good assumption of what the other maps will likely include. This map, and other maps if my assumption is correct, are designed around uncertainty, flanking, and getting lost in the environment. The map we were able to play in the open beta included a dense jungle, multiple routes leading to every objective, and many less obvious approaches to enemy positions. While playing, I often found myself asking less of, where will the enemy attack, and more of, where aren't the enemy attacking from? Most of the time when I was playing either side and trying to defend a point, myself and my teammates had a very hard time determining where the enemy was making their strongest push. Now this made for gameplay that felt more like controlled chaos rather than the organized warfare we're used to seeing in the original Hell Let Loose. Now building off of the map design, a large difference between the two Hell Let Loose games lies in the foliage and overall visibility. In Hell Let Loose, visibility is generally clearer. There are typically long sight lines along the front lines, even on the forest maps, and movement of enemy players is often easier to spot, given that there is typically contrast between enemies and the surrounding environment. Good players will spend a lot of time scanning horizons from a far distance away, watching windows, and generally looking for movement, whether that be in the middle of a city or in the forest. In Hell Let Loose Vietnam, visibility is fundamentally different from the ground up. Due to the dense foliage, it is virtually impossible to see enemy movement until the enemy has pushed onto an attack point. Most points are surrounded by dense jungle. For anyone who had played the open beta, you'll know that making your way through these jungles was terrifying. There were several moments while I was playing that I genuinely could not see where the enemy was, and all I knew was that my teammates were dying, so there had to be one nearby. I ended up needing to search around the area and literally keep my eyes fucking peeled with toothpicks just to search for the enemy, but most times they were sitting in a bush and took me out before I even knew what happened. The jungle in Hell Let Loose Vietnam constantly blocks information. Beyond enemy movement, it is incredibly difficult to spot and find enemy OPs and garrisons. Unless you are right on top of an OP or garrison and can hear the nearby radio chatter, you will often have no idea where the enemies are actually spawning. Now, unlike in Hell Let Loose, where squad leaders can drop an OP or garrison behind a hedgerow, in the backyard of a building, or in a trench, you can generally drop an OP anywhere there's a bush or forest, since the enemies won't be able to make it out within the jungle. This makes for gritty, realistic Vietnam War gameplay, where much of the fighting occurs directly on top of strategic points at short-range distance, without the ability to predict where the next attack is coming from. One of the defining features of Hell Let Loose is that battles typically create natural front lines. Now, there can certainly be more than one area that the enemy is attacking from, but these areas are easy to spot, and with good planning can be predictable and easy to defend. Most of the time, you know where your team is, you know where the enemy is, and where the directions of attack are coming from. It's also easy to spot what the quote-unquote safe areas are. In Hell Let Loose Vietnam, enemies are always appearing from unexpected directions. You constantly find yourself being flanked or being surrounded. Small groups of enemies are able to sneak through gaps and establish a foothold, and safe areas typically don't stay safe for very long. This suits the historical accuracy of Hell Let Loose Vietnam because that war was known for its uncertainty. In the warfare game mode, strategic points are often being lost and recaptured throughout a game due to this unpredictability. It is generally really difficult to defend a point when the attack is coming from all angles. To sum it up, in Hell Let Loose, squads work together to move a front line forward and teamwork feels strategic. In Vietnam, squads work together to survive uncertainty, and teamwork feels a lot more reactive. As an aside, I do also want to mention how helicopters and tunnels often make the maps feel smaller due to how quickly groups of soldiers can get around the map. This creates a swift-feeling combat system, rather than the slow, strategic combat in Hell Let Loose. So, does Hell Let Loose Vietnam feel like Hell Let Loose? Honestly, not really. And after spending a ton of time in the beta, I'm not upset by that. There is intention with how the game is designed. I mean, it would be kind of disappointing, in my opinion, if a Vietnam War game felt the same way a World War II shooter does. Hell Let Loose feels like two armies fighting over territory, and Vietnam feels like soldiers trying to maintain control of a battlefield that's constantly slipping away from them. That's what makes the experience feel so different. You're not methodically pushing through fields, fortifying positions, and slowly moving a battle line forward. Instead, you're reacting, you're adapting, and trying to make sense of your situation and what the next move is. Whether all that has been said in this video is a step backwards or an improvement is in the eye of the beholder. Now, some players, including myself at times, will miss the OG structure that makes Hell Let Loose feel like Hell Let Loose. And others, again, including myself here, I'm playing for both teams, are going to love the unpredictability and tension that Vietnam brings to the battlefield. If there is one thing that the beta has convinced me of, it's that Hell Let Loose Vietnam is not trying to be a jungle reskin of Hell Let Loose, and rather its own game entirely. And I kind of like that. I have to say, it did take some getting used to. I found myself having to break free of old habits and realized that I need to be a more reactive player, rather than a methodical one. If you watched through to the end, let me know in the comments if there's anything I missed, or if there's anything that you think stands out as a major difference between both games. I'd love to hear from you, and I'm responding to everyone, so don't be shy. Also, I will be playing Rising Storm 2 soon for the first time, and we'll be making a video on that. And thank you to the lovely humans who recommended this game. I've been sleeping on it for too long. Gentlemen, thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.
Gotcha. There's another one just right across the street right there in that building. On my ping. No, I'm not. There's a machine gunner watching the road.
I took him out.
Okay, I'm gonna come back over that way. Right.